Hey, it's Mr. Wiz here from Smooth Technology. Today I'm going to show you that using a Maglock with our RFID Wiz is as easy as 1, 2, 3. In order to connect our Maglock to our RFID Wiz, we're going to use the relay output on the RFID Wiz.
Here's a wiring diagram of what we're going to discuss. We're putting it here for a few seconds so you can take a screenshot and reference it while you watch the video.
If you look at the output of the relay, you'll see there are 3 screw terminals, NO, C, and NC. Those stand for normally open, normally closed, and common. Today we're going to be wiring our Maglock between the common and normally closed screw terminals. The reason we want to do that is because during normal operation, we want our connection to be closed, meaning we want the Maglock to have power and keep the door locked. When we trigger the RFID Wiz, the relay will flip and the connection between these 2 wires will become open. Now let's take a look at the wiring that we've got going on here. This is our 12-volt power supply. On our 12-volt power supply, we're getting 12 volts to power our Maglock. We're using the plus V and the minus V terminals. Those are giving us our 12 volts. The black wire, the negative 12 volts, is connected directly to our Maglock. The positive wire is interrupted by our relay. So we are connecting to the common and normally closed contacts of the relay. That means that during its normal state, the Maglock is powered and your door will stay locked. If we take a trained RFID Wiz tag and put it on the RFID Wiz, the relay will flip and the Maglock will release and the door will open. And that's it. If we ever wanted to wire this so the Maglock is normally off, and when we saw the RFID tag, the Maglock turned on, all we would have to do would be to wire to the normally open and common connectors of the relay. We can use the relay to control power to any number of devices this way. Anything that needs to be turned on or turned off can be wired through the relay in this same way. In this case, we're using 12-volt power going through the relay, but you could use any power to go through this relay and connect and disconnect something remotely using an RFID tag and the RFID Wiz. In this example, we're using the included 12-volt power supply to power our Wiz. Now we don't need to do that if we're using an external power supply, a 12-volt power supply. We can actually use this same power supply that powers our Maglock to also power our Wiz. And the way we do that is to use this ground and V-in pins on these screw terminals here. And you can see right next to it, it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 volts DC. So I'm going to wire that up now, and we can run this Maglock and RFID Wiz off of the same power supply, and there'll be no need to use our included external power supply. Now we're going to wire up our RFID Wiz to be powered off of this 12-volt power supply. First thing we're going to do is unplug the power supply. On a power supply like this, the raw AC wiring is exposed, and so you never want to wire something like this while it's plugged in. So I'm connecting wires now to the 12-volt positive and negative outputs of my power supply. Those are usually marked with V plus and V minus. And now I'm going to wire these into the ground and V-in screw terminals on the RFID Wiz. We're connecting our 12-volt wires from our 12-volt power supply to our Wiz to power it. The plus 12-volt wire is going to go into the pin marked V-in, voltage in. And the negative 12-volt wire is going to go to ground, GND. So now when we plug in our power supply, we should be getting power to our Maglock and also to our RFID Wiz, and we should see it light up. There it is, lit up, flash green, flash blue. Our Maglock should be powered. Yes, it is. And our RFID Wiz should still remember its training from before. Yes, it does. And there it is. We're now powering our RFID Wiz with an external power supply. We're powering this Maglock with that same external power supply. And we got it all running on one power supply. And that's it. That's how you use a Maglock with the RFID Wiz with either one power supply or two. Pick your flavor.